Hey, what up everybody? Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Street Sects record, End Position. Street Sects is an Austin, Texas music duo making their full-length record debut on the FLENSER label, a highly recommended by me, experimental music label that usually drops some great stuff. I especially like to take notice when they sign a new artist because they might bring an artist like Street Sects to my attention. The first time I laid ears on these guys, my brain melted, and then it poured out of my ears, and then I needed to slowly and carefully funnel it back into my ear cavities. Then I went to the label's PR guy, I sold my soul so that I can get an early promo of this thing, and boy was it a good trade, because what I heard on the song, And I Grew Into Ribbons, was some of the most vicious, vile, disgusting, and soul-crushing industrial music I've heard in a long time, fused with crazy, overwhelming, sporadic samples, high-volume power electronics, as well as just harsh, abrasive noise. Street Sects were just lighting my brain on fire. And I also like how it's so visceral, so animalistic, but it's also very mechanical. It's not brooding or ultra dark. It kind of sidesteps the whole goth thing, I think. But there are plenty of moments on this record where the duo is not hesitant to work in some melodies, like on the very despondent verses of the closing track on this thing, which sound like the muttered ramblings of a madman, and then all of a sudden the vocals burst into this really theatrical performance on the chorus. I also love the pained vocals and the very dreary guitar passages on the opening of the song Black Din. The song progresses into this harsher wall of instrumentation that features these wailing lead melodies that sound like whatever is making them is really about to break. Now the melodies, while there are some good ones here, they are not so much the selling point as the sporadic and frenzied walls of noise that Street Sects build their songs out of. It sounds like a mix of sequence drums that are hard, pummeling, head-crushing, crazy piano, guitar, and whatever samples. Really is difficult to tell. In a way, it kind of reminds me of some early Wreck and Reference records, how that band did such a great job of recreating a very dark, abrasive, hard-hitting black metal vibe with like just a sampler. I'm getting a similar vibe on this record, but the end result is just so much more to the point and direct. It's like a brick to the face. It's super muscular and well structured. This album is not flabby at all. This band does not just kind of hang around in one kind of vibe aimlessly for very long at all. The performances and the sounds on this thing are so incredibly wild and out of control, yet from the detail that goes into these tracks, it seems like there's an incredible amount of forethought that went into every single track here. It's like trying to paint a beautiful portrait by violently hacking away at the canvas with a machete, and somehow the end result is a hyper-realistic still life of a bowl of shrunken heads. This album is so freakish, it makes the blackest of blacks look gray by comparison. And again, despite all the cacophony on this thing, these songs are very well organized. The insanity of every single track flows so incredibly well. Each passage of a track feeling distinctly different from the next, but without going so far as to make the song sound like random or out of control. And the grooves on this thing, God. I've never wanted so much to violently convulse in the middle of a china shop with, like, I don't know, hammers taped to my wrists, as this thing blasts so loudly on nearby loudspeakers that my ears bleed. The dissonance, the harsh distortion, the variety of sounds on this thing, incredibly loud, fantastic sounds, just light my soul ablaze. And then the dark melodies and very dreary passages just stamp that fire out and crush it and just grind it into the ground like a leather dominatrix boot. All I have to say about this thing is it's one of the best debuts I've heard in a while, and just holy shit, this shit is the shit. Now I do think the duo does tend to wear their influences a little bit on their sleeve. The vocals are kind of buried a little more than I would like them to be sometimes. Sometimes I wish they would just really take the reins and bring something a little more distinct to the table. And the song Feigning Familiarity, even though it does feature one of the loudest and most intense sonic freakouts toward the back end of the track, it is one song that I felt meandered a little bit, especially toward the beginning, and didn't have one of the better structures of the album. But other than that, this album is incredibly intense, and as much as I love it, I know it's not going to to be for everybody. You know, I know a lot of people are going to hear this and just think it's just noise, and that's totally fine. I understand that. I sympathize with that. But for me, this was a very spicy album. That was cringy. Hope you liked that dose of cringe there. I'm feeling a decent to strong 8 on this thing. Might even grow on me a little bit by the end of the year. I don't know. We'll see. I hope you give this thing a shot and enjoy it as much as I do. Transition. And those are my thoughts on this crazy ass Street Sects record. Did you like it? If you gave it a listen, did you love it, hate it, why? What do you think I should review next? As always, and make sure to smash that like, because it would make my day. Okay, and don't you want to make my day? One like equals one happy Anthony. Please, please. I lied. I'm already happy, but you know it would only add to the happiness. But I digress. What do you think I should review next? And I hope you guys are all having a good one. Okay. Bye forever.